The human soldier stepped out of the transport, his boots sinking slightly into the strange, soft soil of the alien world. The sky above glowed with colors he had never seen, swirls of violet and gold as if the very air was alive. Towering spires rose around him, jagged and smooth at the same time, stretching so high that they seemed to pierce the clouds. The hum of alien machinery and distant roars of creatures echoed in the air, filling him with both awe and fear. Every instinct in his body screamed for caution, but he knew his mission: observe, report, survive. Even so, the silence of this place pressed against him like a weight. He was alone, just one human among a world that did not belong to him. His training told him to move carefully, but his heart hammered with something deeper: curiosity, hope, and an undeniable thrill. His hands tightened around the grip of his rifle, a piece of metal that felt almost comforting in this strange land. Then she appeared. The alien queen descended slowly from a floating platform above the ground, her form glowing with soft silver light. She was taller than any human could imagine, her limbs long and elegant, her skin shimmering with a strange iridescence. Her eyes, black and endless, locked onto him, and for a moment the world seemed to hold its breath. Even the wind paused. He felt her power in his bones, a presence so commanding that it could crush armies and break mountains. Yet there was something in it that made his heart race. "You are human," she said, her voice echoing in the air like a song and a command at once. A fragile creature, in a world of strength. The soldier swallowed, his throat dry. He wanted to speak, but words seemed useless. All he could do was meet her gaze, steady and silent. His training, his courage, and something deep in his spirit held him firm. The queen's lips curved slightly, a gesture that was almost amusement. "Yet you stand. You have come into my world without fear, without bowing. This is unusual." She floated closer, and he felt the air itself bend around her. "Most of your kind would have fled. Most would have fallen to despair." He shifted his stance slightly, refusing to look away. Though his heart raced, he did not feel fear, not the kind that breaks a man. There was an odd clarity inside him, a thought that rang louder than the alien roars and humming machines. He could face this. He had to face this. The queen studied him as if reading a book written in a language only she understood. "I have watched countless species try to claim power, to rise above their limits. Few succeed, even fewer endure, and now, I watch you." She paused, letting her words hang in the air like smoke. "Tell me, human, why do you come here? What drives your kind to risk everything?" He finally spoke, his voice low but firm. "Because we never give up. We survive. We fight. We stand, even when the odds are against us." The queen tilted her head, intrigued. "Interesting. You speak with pride, yet your species is fragile, weak compared to the strength I command. Yet you carry something in your eyes, something dangerous, something alive." He felt a shiver run down his spine, but it was not fear. It was recognition, a spark that this moment was the beginning of something greater than himself. Around him, the alien landscape seemed to shimmer in response, as if it too sensed the tension between them. "You are alone," she said, her voice softer now, almost like a whisper. "Yet here you are, standing, breathing, defying the rules of survival. That is unusual." The soldier's gaze never wavered. Though he did not understand the queen fully, though he did not yet know the trials that awaited him, he knew one thing clearly: he would not bow. He would not run. He would face whatever came next, because that was what humans did. That was what he was. The queen's eyes glimmered with an unreadable light. "Very well, human," she said finally. "You have caught my attention. This world will test you, and I will watch. Prove your strength, prove your spirit, and perhaps you may yet surprise me." The soldier took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the challenge settle on his shoulders. This was not just a world of strange creatures and impossible skies. This was a world that demanded courage, heart, and willpower. things that no machine, no alien power could teach. And he, a simple human soldier, was about to show them all that even the smallest spark of humanity could shine in the darkest of worlds. The alien world was silent now, save for the low hum of the spires and the distant calls of creatures that prowled the plains. The human soldier stood rigid, feeling the weight of the Queen's gaze on him. He had survived harsh battlefields before, faced enemies who outnumbered him 10-1, yet nothing had prepared him for this. The Queen's presence was not just power, it was judgment, a force that seemed to see into the very core of his being. She circled him slowly, her movements graceful, almost like a predator observing its prey. "Courage alone is not enough," she said, her voice flowing over him like liquid metal. "Strength alone is not enough. You must prove the power of your spirit. You must show me what it means to be human." The soldier swallowed hard. His chest felt tight, his fingers trembling slightly as they clenched around the grip of his rifle. How could he possibly prove anything to a being who could shatter mountains, crush armies, and twist the very laws of the universe? Fear whispered in his mind, but he pushed it away. He had faced impossible odds before. He had survived. He had fought when everyone else had fallen. And that had always been enough. "I will prove it," he said finally, his voice steady despite the storm of adrenaline inside him. The Queen paused, tilting her head as if she had expected some hesitation. "Bold words," she murmured. "Yet words are easy. Actions, that is something else entirely." She raised her hand, and suddenly the world around him shifted. The soil trembled beneath his boots. The sky darkened, clouds swirling into violent vortexes. Mountains erupted from the ground, jagged peaks surrounding him like the walls of a cage. And from the shadows, creatures of every shape and horror emerged. Monsters with sharp claws, glowing eyes, and teeth that could slice through steel. The soldier's heart pounded, but he did not falter. He could run. He could surrender. He could accept death as countless others would have. But he did not. He crouched, scanning the battlefield, calculating every step, every possible move. His mind raced faster than his heart. The first wave came, crashing against him with terrifying speed. He dodged, rolled, and fought back using everything he knew. Strategy, instinct, and sheer determination. He was outnumbered but not outmatched. Every creature he faced tested him in ways he had never imagined. They were faster, stronger, and more ruthless than any enemy on Earth. Yet with every strike he dodged, every blow he landed, he realized something. He was not just fighting for survival. He was proving something. He was showing that humanity was more than fragile flesh. Humanity was courage, resourcefulness, and a spirit that refused to break. Hours passed, though time felt distorted. He did not stop. He could feel exhaustion gnawing at his bones, sweat stinging his eyes, muscles screaming in protest. Yet still he pushed forward. The Queen watched silently, her expression unreadable, her black eyes gleaming with curiosity and something almost like respect. Finally, the last creature fell, dissolving into nothing under the force of his will. The soldier sank to his knees, gasping, every muscle trembling. Blood covered his hands, sweat soaked his uniform, but he was still standing. Still alive, still human. The Queen floated closer, her gaze intense. "Impressive," she said softly, almost as if the word itself carried weight. "You have strength. But strength alone is not enough. You will need more. You will need to endure, to think, to feel, in ways your kind rarely understands." The soldier looked up at her, chest heaving, fear and excitement tangled in his veins. He had faced death, monsters, and impossible trials, yet she spoke as if the real challenge was only beginning. "I understand," he said. "I will face whatever comes next." The Queen's lips curved into the faintest smile, a gesture both beautiful and terrifying. "We shall see, human. This is only the beginning. Your power, your humanity, must shine brighter than the fear around you. Only then will you prove yourself truly worthy." As she vanished into the shifting air above, the soldier remained on the ground, staring at the alien sky. He knew that his trials were far from over. This world would demand more than strength, more than courage. It would demand heart, spirit, and the kind of fire that burned only in humanity, and deep inside he knew he was ready. The alien landscape stretched endlessly, jagged cliffs and glowing rivers winding through valleys that seemed alive. The human soldier stood at the edge of a massive chasm, his uniform torn and streaked with dirt and blood. The Queen's words echoed in his mind. Strength alone is not enough. You must endure. He took a deep breath, feeling every muscle tense. From the shadows, the creatures appeared again, faster, stronger, and more cunning than before. Their eyes glowed like molten fire, and their claws dug grooves into the ground as they lunged toward him. His heart hammered, but his mind sharpened. He had survived worse. He would survive this. With a precise movement, he dodged the first attack, rolling over the alien soil. A clawed hand smashed into the ground where he had stood moments before, sending up sparks. He jumped onto a nearby rock, launching himself over the next wave of creatures. Every motion was instinct, training fused with raw human determination. Hours seemed to stretch into eternity. The soldier's body ached, every step heavier than the last. His lungs burned, sweat stung his eyes, and his muscles screamed in protest, yet he did not stop. Every strike he made, every obstacle he overcame was a testament, not just of his body, but of his will. The creatures adapted quickly, forcing him to think faster. He could not simply fight them head-on. Brute strength would not save him. He lured some into narrow passes where their size became a disadvantage. He used rocks, twisted metal, and alien terrain to his advantage, turning the battlefield into a tool. His body moved as a weapon, but his mind became the blade. Despite the exhaustion, the soldier's spirit burned brighter with every challenge. He remembered Earth, the faces of his comrades, the laughter of children, the quiet moments of home. Those memories fueled him, giving him strength that no alien could break. Strength, yes, but also heart, determination, humanity. The largest creature yet emerged from the shadows, taller than a building, its roar shaking the ground. It lunged at him with terrifying speed, and for a moment time seemed to slow. The soldier saw every detail, the glint of its teeth, the fire in its eyes, the raw power behind its strike. He dove to the side, rolling as the creature smashed into the rock where he had been. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he pushed forward. He climbed the cliff face, each handhold cutting into his palms, each step threatening to send him plummeting into the abyss below. The creature followed relentlessly, but he reached the top just in time, turning to face it. He met its gaze without fear. With one final burst of strength, he hurled himself at the creature, striking a precise blow that brought it down. Breathing heavily, he sank to his knees. His body trembled with fatigue, blood and sweat mixing on his skin. Every instinct screamed to collapse, to give in to exhaustion, but he could not. Not yet. Not while the Queen watched. From above, the Queen floated silently, her expression unreadable. "Impressive," she said at last, her voice calm yet powerful. "You have survived the first trial. Your body endures, your reflexes are sharp. But endurance is only the beginning. True power is more than strength." The soldier nodded, swallowing hard. His limbs felt like lead, every joint screaming, yet there was a fire in his chest that no pain could extinguish. He understood now that this trial was not just about fighting. It was about proving that humanity could withstand the impossible, adapt, survive, and keep moving forward even when everything seemed lost. The Queen's eyes glimmered, and for a fleeting moment the human soldier felt respect, a recognition that even a being as vast and powerful as her could see the value in human determination. As he rose to his feet, the sun, or whatever alien star shone above, cast a golden light across the battlefield. The soldier took a deep breath, ready for whatever the Queen would demand next. He knew the trials would only grow harder, but one truth burned brighter than fear or exhaustion. He would face them all, because he was human. And humanity never gave up. The alien sky had darkened, swirling into deep purples and blacks as if reflecting the storm inside the soldier's own mind. The Queen's voice echoed around him, soft yet sharp, wrapping around his thoughts. "Strength of body is commendable," she said, "but a mind untested is a mind weak. Let us see if you endure when the world inside you turns against you." The soldier's heart pounded. He had faced impossible odds, monsters that could tear him apart, alien landscapes that defied reason, but nothing had prepared him for this. The air shimmered, and suddenly the ground beneath him disappeared. He fell into darkness, weightless, and found himself in a strange, twisted world that seemed to exist only in his mind. Visions assaulted him. He saw his comrades back on Earth, their faces twisted in pain and fear. He saw homes burned, cities destroyed, oceans boiling. Every mistake he had ever made flashed before his eyes, every failure magnified tenfold. He heard whispers, voices taunting him, "You cannot save them. You are weak. You are nothing." His chest tightened and fear threatened to crush him. His mind spun, memories and visions blending into one chaotic storm. He fell to his knees trying to scream, but no sound came. Doubt slithered into his thoughts like a venomous snake. Maybe they were right. Maybe he was nothing. Then he remembered. Faces of his friends he had saved. Strangers he had protected. The little victories that no one else remembered but mattered deeply to him. He remembered why he fought, why he stood up when all seemed lost. Courage was not the absence of fear. It was standing in the face of it. Strength was not just muscle, it was will, heart, and spirit. He stood trembling but unwavering. The visions shifted, trying harder to break him. He saw Earth burning again, his family crying, helpless while he stood frozen. The whispers became louder, sharper. "You cannot do this. You will fail." "You are weak," but he refused. "No," he said, his voice firm even if only inside his mind. "I will not give up. I will not let fear control me. I fight because I must. I fight because it is who I am." The visions faltered, shaking as if his words were a sword cutting through the illusions. His hands clenched into fists, heart pounding, mind sharper than ever. He focused not on the chaos but on the small truths that anchored him. Hope, courage, and the human instinct to survive and protect. Each vision faded under the strength of his spirit until he stood alone in the darkness, his chest heaving but his mind clear. A voice broke the silence, calm and deliberate. "Interesting. Your mind does not break. You endure fear, loss, despair, yet you continue. Few of your kind possess such resilience." The darkness parted and he saw the Queen hovering before him. Her eyes, dark and infinite, studied him with something that resembled curiosity, or perhaps admiration. "You have resisted every torment, every illusion designed to crush your spirit. You think like a human. You feel like a human. That is your power. Your mind is strong, but it is your heart that guides it." He lowered his gaze, exhausted but proud. "I do what I must. Not for glory, not for victory, but because giving up is not an option." The Queen inclined her head, her form glowing softly in the alien darkness. "Very well. You have survived the trial of body and now the trial of mind. But the greatest challenge remains. Strength, courage, and thought are meaningless without heart. And that will be tested next." The soldier took a deep breath, every nerve buzzing from the mental ordeal. He knew the trials were far from over, but for the first time he felt a flicker of confidence. If he could withstand his own fears, if he could resist the shadows of despair, then perhaps he could endure whatever the Queen demanded next. He glanced up at the swirling alien sky. Beyond it lay challenges he could not yet imagine, dangers more real than any he had faced. And yet, deep inside, a fire burned brighter than fear. He would not bow, he would not break, and he would not fail. He was human, and humanity never surrendered. The alien world was silent now, a strange stillness settling over the plains and cliffs as the human soldier stood alone. The Queen's presence was everywhere, though unseen, her voice echoing in his mind. "Strength and mind have served you well," she said. "But can your heart endure when faced with impossible loss, when hope seems meaningless? That is the true measure of humanity. Suddenly the ground beneath him shifted and he found himself in a vision, a perfect illusion, yet so real it hurt. He saw Earth burning, cities crumbled into ash, oceans boiled and skies turned red with fire. His family, friends, comrades, all he loved were trapped, screaming, terrified, helpless. Every instinct in him screamed to save them, but the scene twisted in ways he could not control. He could not reach them, could not touch them, could not stop the destruction. Tears stung his eyes as he fell to his knees. He had fought monsters, survived impossible trials, and endured pain beyond measure. But this was different. This cut deeper. The helplessness, the fear, the weight of the world, it threatened to crush him. "No, I can't," he whispered, his voice breaking, though only he could hear it. And yet, amid the despair, a small spark ignited, a memory of laughter, of warmth, of small victories he had protected even when it seemed meaningless. Faces of children smiling, hands held in trust, comrades saved from impossible odds. They reminded him of why he fought. Even in the face of loss, humanity clings to hope, to love, to what is right. That small spark grew into a flame inside his chest, stronger than any fear. He rose to his feet, trembling, every muscle aching, tears streaming down his dirt-streaked face. "I will not give up," he said aloud, voice breaking yet resolute. "I fight. Because I care, I fight. Because I must, I fight. Because hope matters even when all seems lost." The vision shifted again, showing more horrors, more pain, yet his determination did not waver. Every illusion, every temptation to despair was met with the strength of his heart. He reached out not to change the visions, but to hold the truth of humanity firmly within him, that even in darkness, humans protect, endure, and rise again. From the shadows, the queen emerged, her form shimmering with light. Her eyes, dark and infinite, watched him with a fascination he could not fully comprehend. "Few of your kind endure this trial," she said softly. "Many would have fallen, given in to despair, abandoned hope, or surrendered to anger. Yet you continue even when there is no reason to continue." The soldier's chest heaved, his body exhausted, his spirit tested beyond anything he had known. I cannot stand by," he whispered. "Even if I not save everyone, I will not stop trying. Even if I fail, I will not give up. That is what humanity is. That is what I am." The queen descended slowly, her presence overwhelming yet serene. "You have shown me the truth of your kind," she said. "Strength alone is nothing. Intelligence alone is empty. But heart can move mountains, defy gods, and inspire even those who believe themselves immortal." The soldier's legs trembled, but he stood tall. Despite the tears, despite the pain, despite the impossible weight of the trial, he had endured. He had proven that the human heart was capable of hope, courage, and compassion. Even in the darkest circumstances, for the first time, he felt the weight of the queen's gaze not as a threat but as acknowledgement. She had seen his spirit, his will, and his heart. She had measured humanity not by weapons, not by size, not by strength, but by the fire that burned within a single human soul. "Very well," she said finally, her voice echoing like music and thunder together. "You have survived the trial of body, the trial of mind, and now the trial of heart. But one challenge remains, the culmination of all. You will face it soon, and it will decide everything." The soldier looked up at the alien sky, the stars unfamiliar yet beautiful. He felt exhaustion in every bone, every muscle, every thought. But he also felt something stronger. A fire that would not be extinguished. A heart that refused to surrender. A humanity that could face the impossible and still rise. And deep inside, he knew the final trial would come. But he would meet it. Because he was human. And humanity, no matter the odds, never stops fighting. The human soldier stood on the highest cliff of the alien world, his body battered, his mind exhausted, and his heart raw from the trials he had endured. Around him, the landscape shimmered in strange colors, rivers of light flowing between jagged peaks that glowed under the alien sun. The wind carried whispers of power, but he stood firm, looking toward the horizon. He had survived body, mind, and heart. Now, only the final test awaited. But even the test itself felt different. The Queen had been watching, not as a tyrant, but as an observer of something rare. Pure human resilience. Then she appeared. The alien Queen floated down gracefully, her silver form reflecting the alien light. Her eyes, deep and infinite, studied him with intensity. "You have endured what most of your kind could not even imagine," she said. "You have faced monsters, illusions, and despair. You have walked the path of strength, thought, and heart. And yet you remain human." The soldier straightened, though fatigue weighed heavily on him. "I am human," he said simply. "That is all I need to be." The Queen's gaze softened, an expression almost like admiration crossing her alien features. "Many have claimed power, but few understand it. Many have sought glory, but few know what it means to endure without surrender. You are something different, something unexpected." She reached out a hand, not in threat but in invitation. The air shimmered around her, reflecting his own image in her luminous form. "You have proven your body, your mind, your heart. Now I offer recognition, not as ruler to soldier, but as one being to another. I will become like you. I will understand your strength. Your humanity has earned it." The soldier's chest tightened. He had not expected this. Not recognition. Not honor. Not that the Queen, immense, unstoppable, and godlike, would acknowledge his kind as worthy. He felt a surge of emotions, pride, disbelief, and something deep he had rarely allowed himself. Hope. "Why me?" he asked softly, voice trembling despite his courage. "Why choose a single human?" The Queen hovered closer, her silver form shimmering like liquid light. "Because you have shown more than courage. You have shown compassion, resilience, and a fire that cannot be extinguished. You did not fight for glory, nor for conquest, nor for recognition. You fought because it was right. You endured not for yourself, but for what your heart believed in. That is true power." The soldier's legs trembled as exhaustion overtook him, but he remained upright. Tears stung his eyes, not from pain, but from the weight of the moment. All he had endured, the fear, the loss, the endless trials, had led to this. A being of unimaginable power had truly seen him, and acknowledged the essence of humanity. I only did what I had to do," he whispered. "I never expected this." The Queen's eyes glimmered with a light that seemed to pierce through the stars themselves. "Your expectation does not matter. Your actions do, and through your actions you have taught me that strength is not merely in might, and endurance is not merely in survival. True power is in spirit. True power is in humanity." For the first time, the soldier felt a profound connection across the boundaries of species, across the vast gulf between worlds. The Queen, immortal and supreme, had acknowledged him, not as prey, not as weak, but as a being worthy of respect. "You are remarkable," she said finally, "not because of what you wield, but because of who you are. Humanity, in its simplest, most fragile form, can move even those who think themselves immortal. You have proven it." The soldier exhaled, feeling relief, pride, and awe mix into something overwhelming. His body ached, his mind reeled, but his spirit shone brighter than ever. He had faced trials no human had before and had endured, and now the Queen had recognized it. She extended her hand fully, her voice soft but commanding. "Rise, human. Know that the strength of your kind is seen, honored, and feared. Your fire will burn across worlds, and I will follow it." The soldier stepped forward, meeting her hand with his own. In that simple gesture, centuries of expectation, trials, and fear melted away. He had survived. He had proven humanity. And now, the Queen herself acknowledged it, a promise that his people would never again be underestimated. The human soldier stood on the cliff, the alien winds brushing against his tired, bloodied face. The sky stretched above him, painted in colors no human name could describe. Yet it felt almost like home in a strange way. Around him the alien world hummed and shimmered with life, but it was quiet now, still in anticipation of what was to come. He had survived body, mind, and heart. He had faced trials that no human had faced before, and now he had been seen, truly seen, by the alien Queen herself. The Queen hovered beside him, her silver form reflecting the alien light. Her black, endless eyes studied him, and in them he glimpsed something he never expected. Respect. Not pity, not curiosity, but respect. She spoke softly, almost reverently. You have shown me the power of your kind. You are more than fragile flesh. You are more than fleeting life. You are courage, endurance, and heart made visible. You have reminded me that even the smallest flame can burn brighter than worlds. The soldier's chest tightened. Exhaustion pressed down on him, but he straightened, feeling pride and wonder mingle with fatigue. He had done what no one else could. He had endured impossible trials, faced unimaginable fear, and refused to break. Not for glory, not for survival, but because he could not abandon his humanity. I only did what I could, he said quietly. I only did what I had to do. The Queen tilted her head, her smile soft but powerful. That is exactly why you succeeded. Strength is fleeting. Intelligence is fleeting. But heart endures, and through your heart, your kind has shown me something I will never forget. You have proven that humans are not to be underestimated, not by me, not by this world, not by anyone. For the first time, the soldier allowed himself to feel the magnitude of what had happened. He had fought not just for himself, but for all humanity. His courage, his determination, his refusal to bow, these were not just personal triumphs. They were proof that his species, fragile and small in a universe of gods and monsters, carried a spark that could change worlds. The Queen extended her hand, her silver fingers brushing lightly against his own. In that contact, he felt a connection across species, across galaxies, a recognition that his world, his people, and his spirit mattered. Your fire will be remembered, she said. Through you, your kind will earn respect, fear, and admiration across stars. Your actions have reshaped what I thought possible. Tears stung his eyes, not from pain, but from the depth of emotion he had carried through all the trials. He had stood alone, facing impossible odds, and had prevailed. Not by weapon, not by alien technology, not by cunning, but by being human. That simple truth, the truth of courage, heart, and endurance, had moved a being more powerful than any mortal could imagine. He looked down at the alien world below, seeing its beauty and danger intertwined. He realized then that the trials, the suffering, the fear, they were all part of a greater story. His story, humanity's story, the story of a small but determined species that refused to bow, even when the universe seemed indifferent. The Queen spoke once more, her voice carrying across the cliffs like both thunder and music. Go, human. Return to your world. Carry the fire you have proven here. Let it burn in the hearts of your people so they may know that they are never weak, never insignificant, that they are in every way capable of greatness. The soldier nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and pride settle within him. He turned his gaze toward the horizon, toward the stars that awaited him, toward the world that had not yet known what he had accomplished. Humanity had a champion here, a symbol of courage and heart, and he would carry that truth back to his people. As he stepped down from the cliff, the alien winds at his back, he felt alive in a way he had